And I still believe that these problems can be solved.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
This is The Political Show.
Hey, and welcome to The Political Show right here on Active FM, where radio has never been better. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you know you can call me Gigs, and with me in studio we have
Gavin Enslin,
Pastor Gavin Enslin, and
The Black Knight
right here on The Political Show, where Christ politics is
Hot Politics.
Hot Politics. And this week's Hot Politics, I mean, if you've been listening to our show for the past 3 weeks, you would know that we've been covering the trans community and the church. Not specifically the trans community, but we've been looking more at in news, political news surrounding the church and stuff. And this week we are looking at another article from CBN that is titled, "As Church Attacks Rise, Biden DOJ Seeks No Jail Time for Trans Vandal Who Attacked Church Worker." Yeah, that is some hot news. Pastor Gav, do you want to give a more brief description?
Yeah, look, it's not only with the Biden DOJ.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere you've got people in charge that are not Christian, they do this to the church. I mean, for example, if you go into many Islamic countries,
Yeah.
when people attack churches and vandalize them and things like that, the authorities do nothing. I remember once the PLO took over, the West Bank in Israel, specifically in Bethlehem, there was an argument between some guys, from the PLO and the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF. And so guess what? They ran straight into the one church of the Nativity there in Bethlehem. This is years ago. And then there was a standoff between them and the IDF there. The IDF, the Israeli Defense Force was after them. You also have things where people from the gay community have gone in and defecated all over churches. Satanists do the same thing. You never see Christians going into a satanic coven and trying to desecrate the satanic coven by putting crosses and the blood of Jesus, all over the thing. You understand what I'm saying? The most you'll see Christians doing is like a prayer walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're fighting in the spiritual. So, in the spiritual, they're using some pretty hectic weapons. You know what I'm saying? But physically, there's, our war's not against flesh and blood.
No.
And so, what tends to happen is that wherever people come up against a church, they can only use physical means, because spiritually they can't stand against a church.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what's happening now in the States. And what happens is that with the Department of Justice, as I said before, it should be the Department of Injustice. So instead of the DOJ, it should be the DOR. You understand? The DOI. Okay. Because they come. This trans guy comes and vandalizes the church and doesn't get a jail sentence. So I don't understand that. Are you telling me that vandalism doesn't attract jail time in the States now? Okay, if you're Antifa or BLM or you're attacking a church, yes, that's correct. If you were on January 6, 2021, you were standing up for Donald Trump and you went on a tour of the Capitol, then you've probably been sitting in jail for over 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without bail.
Yeah.
So, you can't say that the scales of justice are blind in America.
That is what we're going to be speaking about. It's going to be really awesome. And we're going to be comparing it to another incident. So obviously we're going to look at the incident that happened with the transgender person, and we're going to be comparing it to another incident that happened. And you're going to be getting our thoughts on this whole article and on the situations in America. This is The Political Show, where Christ politics is
Hot Politics.
Hot Politics.
Told the boys and girls we
here to mash up the place. I'm one of the youngest in age, so make sure you're watching this.
Time and time again, I know that I saw my sins. You don't see my sin no more.
Haven't you heard? It's the Netflix of radio.
Radio has never been better.
So we are looking at the article from CBN that was released on the 13th of April and it's titled, "As Church Attacks Rise, Biden DOJ Seeks No Jail Time for the Trans Vandal Who Attacked Church Worker." And this is what they say. The Justice Department is pursuing no jail time for a transgender person who admitted to assaulting a church worker, vandalizing a Catholic church with profane graffiti, smashing its glass, and damaging a statue of the Virgin Mary in Washington state last June. In the plea agreement for Marv Nota, who is 31, the DOJ recommended 0 jail time for the perpetrator, and this is according to Fox News digital report. As CBN News reported in June of 2022, Nota was arrested after destroying one entrance to a building, shattering a door in the parish hall, and spray painting more than a dozen places on walls throughout the church campus with messages such as liar, religion of hate, go to your fake hell, and other messages were too profane to print on the article. In addition, Nota attacked a church employee and hit a police car with a backpack crammed full of paint cans. Nota was captured on video.
So I just want to interrupt there. We're not just talking vandalism.
Yeah.
We're talking about assault.
Yeah.
And we're talking about attacking a police officer.
Yep.
And damaging a police vehicle, which is state property.
Yep.
Okay. These are quite serious crimes.
They really are. Nota was captured on video repeatedly throwing a rock at a glass inside a pastoral office before kicking and punching in the glass. The outlet also reported a woman who was praying inside the building tried to talk to the trans man before locking herself inside as the attacker continued to spray paint the rock wall outside the building. Bellevue Police Captain Daryl McKinney told KCPQ at the time that the damage would fall under a hate crime statute. Instead, a plea agreement was made between the Department of Justice, Nota, and his attorney. It shows that the DOJ will recommend no jail time and 3 years of probation during sentencing on the 2nd of June. That's what Fox reported. So now that was the incident that happened with the trans person. And
now, surely the DOJ should have the permission of the church, as well as the person who was attacked, as well as the police officer that was seemed to be accosted as well, before offering that plea. Because at the end of the day, the rights, when you've been assaulted, or if your property has been vandalized, the rights all rest with the victim. In terms of proceeding with prosecution.
No, that's true.
And then the trial is just supposed to go on and determine, is the person guilty? And I mean, I would imagine that American law, or which state was that in again?
Washington.
I'm sure Washington state's law prescribes more than 0 days jail time for those crimes. And there's a couple of different crimes there. So each one would have a sentence. And then you add the sentences up. Correct or incorrect?
Very correct. I mean,
So does the Department of Justice have the right to recommend 0 jail time?
No.
If the law doesn't say that?
No, not at all.
In other words, they're violating the law. Those guys are violating their oaths of office.
No, that's true.
Surely the DOJ's oath would include upholding the American Constitution.
Exactly. And it's not like they don't know the law. They can't say, but loopholes, but they definitely know the law. So obviously now that happened with the transgender person, and then they compare it to DOJ wanted pro-life dad of 7 to spend 11 years in jail for minor incident with abortion clinic volunteer. So they're comparing it to this incident. The way the DOJ treated Nota is much different than the aggressive tactics and charges it used against pro-life activist Mark Hawk. He had been in a minor altercation with a Planned Parenthood volunteer who was harassing
Now, can I just say,
Mark's little boy.
Okay, why are they saying a minor altercation like that? First explain the altercation.
Yeah.
And we'll decide if it's minor.
Yeah.
I mean, if you hit the oak with a baseball bat,
that's not minor.
That's not minor.
Yeah.
Or did he say, you're gonna rot in hell? What's a minor altercation?
Yeah. Yeah. But so he had the minor altercation with a Planned Parenthood volunteer who was harassing his little boy near Philadelphia abortion clinic last year. The case never went to court, but the Justice Department...
But hold on a sec. Why was the Planned Parenthood person harassing his boy?
They don't give detail to the situation.
So, was it a case of someone's harassing a boy and they just happened to be a person who works at Planned Parenthood?
Yeah.
Which means it's got nothing to do with the issue of abortion.
It's got more to do with...
More to do with someone messed with his son.
Yeah. Let us look that up.
And that father just happens to be a pro-lifer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to know, did the father even know that the individual concerned was working for Planned Parenthood?
But I would imagine if he was a volunteer at Planned Parenthood and they were outside, they probably would have been outside.
No, but I mean, what the article says is that this Planned Parenthood employee was messing with his son.
So I'm finding articles now from when this incident happened, and they were outside of Planned Parenthood center clinic.
Okay. The question I've got, I mean, did the father specifically attack this person because they work for Planned Parenthood? Or was the father defending his child?
The father was defending his child, according to the articles that are coming out.
But from what? What was this person doing to his child?
Funny thing, you're not finding that much, eh? They're just speaking about the trial. Well, not the trial. So you're seeing stories about the FBI raid. The FBI raided his house.
So the FBI raided his house?
Yeah.
Did they say what happened with the altercation? So the FBI raided his house?
Yes.
So a guy has an argument with a guy who works at Planned Parenthood who was somehow harassing his son.
Yes.
Now the FBI is raiding his house.
Yes. Okay, so here's an article from Fox News that says pro-life activist Mark Hook details shocking Planned Parenthood encounter following acquittal. So acquitted pro-life activist and father Mark Hook is revealing the shocking details of his encounter with a rowdy Planned Parenthood escort that led to the FBI raiding his home and the Biden administration wanting him to face 11 years in prison. I'm just going to skip through some of the things. It says a jury acquitted the Pennsylvania dad who was accused of pushing a Planned Parenthood escort during an encounter outside the abortion clinic.
So, you want to put the guy in jail for 11 years and he pushed the other guy. Are you serious?
Yeah.
He pushed him. Did he push him repeatedly?
So the Biden is alleged that Hook violated the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, which criminalizes using force with the intent to injure, intimidate, and interfere with clinic workers. Okay, but the guy works
here, so how's he preventing him from accessing the facility?
Yeah.
They would have come out of the center to have the altercation.
Yeah.
So
and then
now you push the person. Oh my word. Okay, carry on, sorry.
He says Hook explained how he was defending his son from the volunteer Bruce Love. He is about a foot away from my son after already having one altercation with him. Hook began to recall the incident to Hannity. He's making my son extremely nervous. When Hook's son moved behind him, he could tell his boy was visibly scared, and insults continued to be directed at them. Then the Catholic dad told Love to go back to where he normally stands. I walk him there and tell him to stop talking to my son, the activist recalled. He doesn't have any permission to talk to my son.
So they're busy protesting.
Yeah.
So in other words, then what probably happens is this Planned Parenthood employee comes out.
Yeah.
Starts swearing them.
Yeah,
okay,
probably.
Makes the son scared. The son's also there protesting with his father. The father says, hey, back off, buddy. The guy refuses to back off. So he grips him and pushes him to where he's supposed to be standing.
That's basically, he says...
And he says, leave my son alone.
And then even after saying that,
so
he
now,
goes back and talks to the son again. That's when he pushed him.
Okay, so I don't even push him at first. So then he comes back now. He chirps the son again. Now that I grips him and says, get away here. Okay, stop antagonizing my son. My son's allowed to protest. In other words, that's what happened.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
No, that's what you've just read.
Okay, yes, that is what I just
read. Naima's got to jail for 11 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and then because of that situation, a SWAT team of around 25 people shockingly showed up.
So now 25 FBI agents pitch up at his house and they start searching it.
So that's basically... So looking at that story and comparing it to what happened... So all his neighbors
see 25 FBI agents. They're thinking, who the hell is this neighbor?
I would also think that. I would be like, what is happening?
What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, definitely. That would be me.
What? He pushed the guy from Planned Parenthood away from his son.
And told...
The guy was swearing at his son. He didn't even knock his teeth out. He just pushed him away. Now you want to put him in jail for 11 years and you're sending 25... Okay, no wonder they're not solving crimes in America. Because 25 FBI agents go to search this guy's house for what? Abortion equipment or what? What are they searching for?
Yeah, so now comparing that situation, obviously he was acquitted and stuff, but them wanting to charge this guy 11 years and a fine of $350,000.
So 11 years plus he must pay $350,000.
$350,000.
Not 11 years or $350,000.
No. And a fine of $350,000.
Okay.
And then we have on the other side, we have a transgender person who vandalized a church building, attacked a church worker, attacked a police officer, and vandalized what's the state
police
property?
Vehicle.
Yes. What are your thoughts on that?
It's the Department of Injustice.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously they're not pursuing justice and they're not upholding the law. They're pushing an ideology and the law is meaningless in the States. That's what it tells me. And what it tells me, if you're a Christian or you're a church, that at the end of the day you must organize your own police force.
True.
Because they're not going to do anything for you. And that includes prosecuting people that have come and done those sorts of acts. But at the same time, if you're a pro-lifer and you're standing at a protest at a Planned Parenthood site, and someone comes and starts swearing and shouting at your child, that you're going to get 11 years and you're going to get 25 FBI agents breaking into your house.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Black Knight, what are your thoughts before I actually give my thoughts?
I think we're seeing obviously a repetition of the elites, which I believe they so left that there's no right that they do or say. I'm sorry.
Bad joke.
I had to do that. Yeah.
Sorry, are we?
But you can tell that there is an agenda, as much as because we have the elections coming up. So they want these things. You know what they always use is this. The left will always use the abortion thing as their key. They'll always use the whole race thing as their key. And obviously the whole white supremacy stuff. They'll always use that as their way to win votes. And we also see what's happening with the Republicans. They're busy fighting who Dos Santos now is running against Trump.
Yeah.
But
can I tell you with that one? I've become anti-Trump.
Oh wow!
You've become anti-Trump. Why? Do you trust Dos Santos over Trump?
No, it's not. It's not about trust. When I look at Trump, I think of it in terms of if I was an American, who would I vote for? And in this last week, Trump has come out in favor that if a man feels he's a woman, that he should be able to use the woman's bathroom.
No ways.
No, he did. And also there's this boycott that broke out with Bud Light because they used that Dylan Mulvaney, that trans woman, that guy's a trans woman type, whatever. And they put Dylan Mulvaney's face on their Bud Lights and, used Dylan Mulvaney in the marketing and stuff like that. So now there's a huge boycott. I don't know if it's of Budweiser in total or just Bud Light. And Donald Trump Jr. put up a video saying that they must stop the they must stop the boycott.
So
okay, and that's it. As far as Trump's concerned, I'm out of there because to me now the only difference between Trump and Biden on this issue is that Biden wants to push it for children.
Yeah.
And Trump hasn't at this point said he's going to push it for children. But if Trump's saying this, then DeSantis is busy fighting the whole LGBTQ thing in Florida.
But dude, don't you think all of that is staged? I think they're just planning to.
It doesn't matter if it's staged.
To kill the whole thing,
if
where the whole of America is actually
no. But wait a second now.
Kind of collapse.
Sorry, when you talk about this,
the left.
Yeah. Sorry, when you talk now about this transgender thing, and what I'm saying is, it was even like this with gay marriage. You have to draw a line in the sand. It's the same as abortion. You have to draw a line in the sand, and you have to stand. And if Trump's not going to stand for that, he's the same as Biden. That's just my position on it. So if a Christian politician took that stand, Jane Safi, I would not vote for them.
Yeah.
Because even if they're lying, if the one who says they will stand for that, or they'll stand against it, if they're lying, that's on them. But if their policy says, this is what I'm going to do, and I vote for them, that's on me.
Because I think with this, like with the whole abortion thing, where you lose as a conservative is where when it comes to an argument is the whole rape thing, and we have also rape surging, and now it's going to look like you don't care about people who are being raped, and then that's where
that's simple.
That's where for me the right loses the debate of abortion.
You're telling me that a woman who's been raped and falls pregnant is going to get healing by killing that child?
No, I don't believe that. No,
never mind that.
No.
What I'm saying is, you're saying they're going to get me. I'm going to challenge that get.
Yeah.
And to say, you're telling me that woman's going to get healing. All right? Because I can tell you stories I know where the woman had the baby, and the baby brought healing from a catastrophic disaster. And I don't believe that her having been raped justifies the killing of the child who's innocent. And when you say conservative, be careful. I'm pro-refugee rights. I don't fit in the conservative mold. If you say socially conservative, that, I'm not going to say South Africa first. I'm not going to say that refugees have no rights. So that doesn't fit the profile.
It's probably just your stand on immigration that'll put you out, but most of your stuff is
my stand on immigration is left wing, but
yeah, but what I'm saying is most of your categories on stands it's conservative.
No, it's not.
Because conservatives kind of conservatives people are
okay. Sorry, Dave Rubin is
80% biblical stuff.
No, because I agree with quite a few positions that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has.
So I'm saying 80%. I'm not saying
who's just announced he's running for president in America. And I agree with him on far more issues than many of those Republican politicians.
Yeah.
No.
And so I'm saying 80%. I'm not saying
I don't know what his stand is on abortion, but Rudy Giuliani, who's a Republican, is pro-abortion. Yeah. Rudy Giuliani, who's a Republican, is pro-gay marriage. Dave Rubin, who's a Republican, is married to a man and they have a child. Okay, so at the end of it, I'm not with those guys. When it comes to his view on abortion and divorce and marriage, Rudy Giuliani, I'm totally opposed to what he believes.
But I don't think that those are the true beliefs of a real conservative.
No, forget about conservative.
I don't think
what I said is you're calling me a conservative. I'm challenging what you're calling me.
According to your beliefs, you stand mostly with the because it's just right, left, and right. Let's forget
there are Democrats. Sorry,
because they all fall
with
under
all due respect,
the two at the end of the day.
Are you telling me there are no Are you telling me there are no Democrats in America who are pro-life?
They are. No, they are.
So you can't tell me I'm on the right. You can't tell me I'm on the right.
I kind of think that
that whole... you agree, Geeks?
Yes, that's what I actually wanted to say before.
If you find any Democrats that are pro-life, you can't say I'm on the right.
I think in America specifically now, that line between the left and the right has been
blurred.
It's been blurred because if you actually read news articles,
I'm watching podcasts.
Yeah,
where left wingers and right wingers are sitting there agreeing.
Do you know what I think
like
about the left and the right?
Bill Maher and Alex Jones agreeing.
Steve,
they hated each other.
What I think about the left
4
and the right.
4 years ago, you know Bill Maher. You know who Bill Maher is. He's a total left wing commentator.
I think I've seen him.
Pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage.
I just have to see.
Pro all that stuff that I'm against.
I know the name.
Alex Jones is anti-abortion, anti-gay marriage. Although Alex Jones says the adults must do whatever they want. But these two oaks are like hugging and kissing and making up now. Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. I mean, Joe Rogan is as anti-Christian as they come.
I just my beliefs with the left and right is that they're playing on what's already in people. That we want to keep the stuff that works for us, like that has worked forever. And at the same time, we want to, obviously, bit by bit, innovate into new things. I think everyone in the world is like that. I don't know, no matter how much you want to keep the old things, I think there's a little new somewhere you want.
So what has this got to do with you calling me a conservative?
So the whole point of the left people, they kind of like liberals, they want to break free from the old and come with new things and all of that. And then conservative, it's more of they want to keep the old stuff because it's been working. We look at history and all of that. So
are you saying what the Bolsheviks did to set up the Soviet Union is new? Because that's what the left-wing guys are doing.
What I'm saying is that I believe they're playing on people's feelings. This whole thing of left and right
you're not answering my question.
Doesn't really...
So you're not answering my question. You're telling me the left-wing guys want to do things that are new. And I'm challenging that because are you saying that what the Bolsheviks did to set up the Soviet Union is new? I'm saying it's not.
I'm not talking in control. I'm talking in their beliefs, not their structure.
Do you know what? Yeah, but you know what the Bolsheviks believed? It's everything these guys are fighting for.
Isn't that also breaking away? Because when you're fighting for
fluidity, when I grew up, do you know which
when you're fighting for let's not just be girl and boy, let's be others. That's kind of like
that's communist ideology.
Yeah, that's kind of like new because
that's not new.
Because we when you look at history, it's always been male female.
No.
So we want
this has been pushed for.
When I'm saying we, I'm not saying me. But yes, obviously
this ideology is not new.
Yes, but it is the whole concept of liberation that's happening from let's not just stick to boy girl. Let's get out of that class and now make other things. It's just that when we look at history, they've never been allowed to do that. Hence why it's not new, but it will be new because like now it's new.
To
now.
say they'd never be allowed to do that is not true. That was like that in the Roman Empire.
But now it's more. But now they have more doors open than they did back then.
No, in the Roman Empire, those Roman Caesars, their lovers were men.
They had to do that in secret. They had to do that in secret.
No, it was open. Their lovers, Alexander the Great, it's open. His lovers were men. They had a woman to give them children. That's the only reason she was there. Their lover was men. It's a known fact. And in fact, what many people will tell you is that's what eventually brought the Roman Empire down. The out and out debauchery.
But how many people are we talking about there compared to now? Now we have people here in South Africa, we have people in America, people all over the world who act like women. Back then, we didn't have that much people doing that.
No,
it's probably
again,
the kings
again, I disagree. Why do you think in the Bible it says that if you're a man, you mustn't dress as a woman? Because this was going on.
But not as much as now. That's what I'm saying.
No, it was. Depends on the times. I mean, have you read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Our times are not as evil as that. I maintain that in the book of Genesis.
Yeah.
Have you read Sodom and Gomorrah?
But how big were they?
No, it was big.
I don't think it was.
Or when God brought the flood with Noah, what do you think those people were doing?
It doesn't really say. Just say they exceeded in sin, in evil.
So where's evil ever changed? The book of Ecclesiastes says nothing has ever changed.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun. Let me tell you, okay, so now the left wingers, they call themselves progressives, right? Mm. Do you know what the name of the party was that I supported when I was growing up? Progressive Federal Party. So I was a progressive.
So that's
and I was pro-choice until I saw an abortion the result of an abortion in a dustbin in a park in the center of Johannesburg. Mm. When I looked at that, I said, this isn't right. And there was, I mean, I was in the army. We called one of the medic doctors, and we thought it was a newborn baby. He said, no, this is a baby of a woman who's about 6 months pregnant. We looked at the size, still had the umbilical cord on, all that sort of stuff. A woman came, they had an abortion, and dumped the body of a baby in a dustbin in a park. Okay, now some of the men there, they were what we called campers, so they were older. They were married, they had kids. The guys who had kids were very upset. And that day I changed my mind. I said, there's no ways I'm going to support this. And what I also maintain, that is not a political position. If you've seen the result of an abortion like I've had, that's not a political position.
Yeah,
and I think people are minimizing the issue. I mean, at the end of the day, all these people want to cry about people's rights and stuff, but you're murdering people.
But it's the media that's doing that. Like now we're seeing.
No, I know that.
They're minimizing an attack on the church.
And the media.
And then they make someone who just pushed, which is we've had that such situations for a very long time.
But can I be honest with you? Just because the media is pushing it doesn't mean most people believe it.
Okay, that's
the media is trying to force things on people that most people don't believe.
But they're winning though, because now someone is arrested 11 years plus.
Are they winning?
Plus they need to pay fine.
Are they winning? I'll just give, one of the things Gig said was they're going to push AI this year. And my view was it's going to backfire.
Yeah.
And when I'm listening to people, I mean, they are pushing it.
So far.
So already our prophecy came true there.
Yeah, so far.
But I mean, are people not pushing back, Gigs?
Yeah, they are.
You understand?
Mm.
But I mean, to say I'm a conservative, what is a conservative?
Okay. You can give, sorry, Gigs, we went to the whole, you can give your...
What I was saying is basically what you guys were debating was the whole thing of, I think at this point, you can't really tell between a left and a right wing person in America anymore. So if you look at the newspaper articles, even in 2020 when we started the political, was it 2020, 2019, whenever we started the political show, the articles would specify.
It was 2020. It was that terrible year.
The news articles would specify left wing, right wing person, but now the news articles are specifying trans, pro-life, this and that and that. They're no longer looking at whether or not they are right wing or left wing person, and I think that's where the issue comes in, where they look at what a person believes, and depending on what they believe, that's how they take justice on the situation. Because was it 3 weeks ago where we did the show where the trans person did the shooting? In the show we said this news is not going to stay for long or whatever. It's probably just going to be there for that week, and we only heard it that week, and there's not much that you hear. As far as I know, that person has not received jail time.
Probably more about Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Than about that.
So I think at this point where America is, it depends on what you stand for, and then they'll take justice with that. And
well, can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
Their justice system seems to have deteriorated and is now worse than Xavier's justice system.
Which is very true, yeah. Yeah.
My impression.
Think so? Do you think I was...
No, we know our justice system is terrible. We know that. But I think, the things that I see in South Africa are not as ridiculous as that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If those two cases...
if there's a corrupt judgment, they try and cover it up. They're just blatant.
Okay, I hear what you're saying,
Yeah. And the article basically ends saying that new data shows increase in attacks on U.S. churches. The DOJ's double standard of treatment for the church attacker was revealed as an updated report on anti-church violence has just been made public. New data from the Family Research Council shows an uptick in attacks on churches when compared to recent years. As CBN News reported in December, churches were targeted 420 times since 2018. Now, in the first 3 months of 2023, 69 acts of hostility have been recorded. That's the most since the Family Research Council started tracking the data 6 years ago. There were 53 incidents of vandalism, 10 arson attempts, 3 gun-related incidents, and 3 bomb threats. 29 states experienced acts of hostility against churches. North Carolina had the most incidents with 7. Ohio, Tennessee each had 5. Florida, Missouri, and Pennsylvania each had 4. No incidents were found in 21 states or the District of Columbia.
Okay, over what period is that?
This is the 69. The 69 first 3 months, January, February, March.
So 69 times churches were attacked just for being churches.
Just for being churches.
Now you listen to the rhetoric that goes around what constitutes a hate crime towards gay people. I mean, this is, any person who doesn't admit that there's actually a bias here, is corrupt in their view. Their views are corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just my view on it. True.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, the reason why I push back on the conservative statement, I have a problem when they say abortion is a political issue.
They made it.
No, it's not. They've claimed it.
Oh, okay.
It's not a political issue. It's a biblical issue.
Yeah.
Okay, gay marriage is not a political issue.
Yeah.
There are people who are supporting gay marriage on the left and right of politics. Okay, and by nature, the way I grew up in apartheid South Africa, I'm inclined in many issues, even on social development and things. When I was growing up, I was inclined more to be on the left. Right, in terms of how I believe the government needs to help people, and all of that. I'm not an out and out capitalist type of thing. I'm also not a communist or a socialist. So the thing is, they come and they categorize things like this and say it's a political issue. I mean, the whole transgender thing. You've got lots of Democrats that are Christians. You've got pastors, especially black pastors in America, that support the Democrat Party. So, and many of them are pro-life. So how can you say that being pro-life is a political thing and you're a right-winger? It's just not true. I mean, how many of your Democrat poll workers are anti-abortion? I'm telling you now that there's probably plenty, I don't know what percentage, but there probably a significant number of Democrat members in America that are pro-life.
How many states they have a legal abortion thing, and how many states don't allow abortion?
Well, no, I don't know the latest really count, the numbers, but I'd imagine it's around 20, 22
so, but
that are putting legislation to limit and restrict abortion, yeah.
Okay. Because for me, when I was looking at that, I thought like almost the whole of America is...
Well, more states have produced anti-abortion legislation than states. There's a few states that have produced pro-abortion legislation. But I think there's about 5 or 6 on the pro side.
On the pro side.
Yeah, so more anti.
Okay, then I would say that's how you tell.
But I mean, you actually can't tell because the Republicans come into power, they get the power, they win the pro-life vote in many instances, and then they do nothing about it. So this whole, I mean, many of the guys standing for the Republican Party are Democrats wearing Republican outfits, which I think now Trump is. If Trump is advocating that transgenders must use the they can use whatever toilet they feel like it. And I saw the article, he was quoted. All right, he was quoted. I actually went and researched. No, he was quoted. He said that. He also, when he became president, said that the gay marriage thing is decided by the Supreme Court. Roe versus Wade was also decided. So, to me, I'll have a problem with him now. For the same reason I actually have a problem with Biden. So now what? Now you sit like South Africa situation. It doesn't matter which party you're looking at, I have a problem with him. I mean, in South Africa, the DA are classed as the Democratic Alliance, official opposition. They're classed as right-wingers. They're pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage, pro-everything that I'm against. And on all of those positions, the ANC has exactly the same position and they're left-wing. And the EFF has exactly the same position and they're even more left-wing. So how can it be a political issue?
True.
Yeah.
Especially with just the last thing with the electoral bill that has been signed into act by our president. You can tell that they all playing together because that bill, it protects only the 3 parties.
They just put a show.
Yeah, like when I saw that, I was like, where's Pastor Kevin? We were right. These guys just protected themselves right now and kicked everyone else out. It's crazy.
In Deuteronomy 30 verse 19 to 20 it says, "Today I have given you the choice between life and death, between blessings and curses. Now call on heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. Oh, that you would choose life, so that you and your descendants might live. You can make this choice by loving the Lord your God, obeying him and committing yourself firmly to him. This is the key to your life, and if you love and obey the Lord, you will live long in the land the Lord swore to give to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob."
And this is, this just goes to what I was saying earlier, why I challenged the point about conservatives and all of that kind of stuff. This is not about conservative versus liberal. All right? I mean, what many people who call themselves liberals are saying today is the antithesis of being liberal. The word liberal means you're for freedom. Now, I'm for freedom, dude. I'm for freedom. I'm all for people choosing for themselves. All right? Except when it comes to things like murder and rape. I can't go choose to rape a woman. I don't believe you have the freedom of choice to do that. You understand? I don't believe you have the freedom of choice to say my child is going to go through transgender surgery. That's child abuse.
Yeah.
And very likely, when that child gets over 18, they're gonna hate the parent that allowed them to go through that. They're gonna say, how could you have chosen? I wasn't old enough and I didn't have the capacity to make a life-altering choice for myself like that. Okay? And the thing is, at the end of the day, it's not a choice of conservative versus liberal or conservative versus progressive or libertarian or all these terms that they've got these days. The choice is life or death. Okay, if you choose to go against God, you're choosing death. If you choose to go with God, you're choosing life. And Moses says to the Israelites, choose life. And the political show is saying to South Africa and the world,
choose life.
Choose life, and it will go well with your soul.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So in that instance, I'm a conservative. Conserve your soul.
This has been an amazing show. So let us know your thoughts on our social media platforms. I'm your girl Cynthia, but you can call me Gix. And with me in studio we've had
Gavin Easton,
Pastor Gavin Easton, and
the
Black Knight, right here on the Political Show on Active FM, where radio has never been better and Christ politics is
hot politics.
Hot politics.
And now, we continue with commercial-free music. Go!
Pull up to the city side, that's the tricky side where they let the blicky.
Commercial-free music.
Active FM. Radio has never been better.